Alright, so today my wife was driving her car around and it turns out she had a cylinder misfire. Not knowing, having the tools at home, I took it to the local AutoZone and they gave me a code and said the number 2 cylinder misfired. So having lots of experience with the Hyundais here, I know it's more than likely the coil pack. So I'm going to go ahead and replace the coil pack on her 2013 Hyundai Santa Fe. Done this before. Here's my replacement coil. It's a Duralast C1544. Sold single at a time. You could also buy them in a 6-pack if you want. This is a 6-cylinder engine. To get to them, we're going to pull the engine cover off. They just push on down there. So just lift up on it. And then the ignition coils are these guys right here. There's 1, 2, 3, and on this particular model, underneath the intake manifold in the back is the 4th, 5th, and 6th one. The way that firing order goes on these guys, or cylinder position I should say, starts in the back corner with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And again, the trouble code said it had a misfire in cylinder number 2, which is this guy. So I'm going to go ahead and get the tools to remove them and change it up. So the tools we're going to need for this are a 10mm. I'm using a 1/4 inch drive with a 6-inch extension. And here's a new part. Just like OEM, not quite the same though. If you look at it, the inlet plug is actually considered upside down. It latches to the top instead of the bottom. If you can see, I've already installed one of these. So if you look at this is an OEM one. See the little hold down tab is to the bottom. That's the one you squeeze to remove the cap. And here's the aftermarket one. Notice the tab is to the top. So some of them are a little harder to do, but basically push in on that tab and pull back on it. They're kind of a pain in the butt to do. Some patience helps. Pull the little black cat beat back first, that unlocks it essentially, and then it comes off. Have that black cat move backwards, that allows a little thumb to push in, unlock the component. Now when this goes back on, the new one, it'll be upside down like that. So the tools we're going to need for this are a 10mm. I'm using a 1/4 inch drive with a 6-inch extension. And here's a new part. Just like OEM, not quite the same though. If you look at it, the inlet plug is actually considered upside down. It latches to the top instead of the bottom. If you can see, I've already installed one of these. So if you look at this is an OEM one. See the little hold down tab is to the bottom. That's the one you squeeze to remove the cap. And here's the aftermarket one. Notice the tab is to the top. So some of them are a little harder to do, but basically push in on that tab and pull back on it. They're kind of a pain in the butt to do. Some patience helps. Pull the little black cat beat back first, that unlocks it essentially, and then it comes off. Have that black cat move backwards, that allows a little thumb to push in, unlock the component. Now when this goes back on, the new one, it'll be upside down like that. Next we'll just break it loose. Really simple, just take the wrench right down on top of there. They're really easy to take out. Don't use big tools. Don't use impact drivers. Stay away from impacting things. They typically hurt more than they help when it comes to little stuff like this. So all I did is grab it and pulled it out. There it is. And that's the old one. And if you can see way down on the inside, there's a spark plug way down there. Because this plug fouled out, I want to make sure that the plug itself is also okay, so I'm going to check it for excessive wear or fouling on the inside. So to do this, I'm going to remove that plug What I'm using here is a bender bar style torque wrench with a couple of 3-inch and a 6-inch extension, and then of all things a 5/8 socket. I'm going to get a lot of, well, that's a metric engine, it's like I understand, but Hyundai like to use SAE style stuff on there. It's not SAE thread, but it fits the hex and SAE. The pan underneath is also a 9/16. So I'm going to do my favorite thing here. What I do is I don't know the torque on this, so I'm going to put it on and I'm going to gently push on it until it breaks loose and basically record what the torque is. And I do this in Newton meters. Right about 25 Newton meters and it broke. So when I torque it back down, I'm going to go back down to 25 Newton meters. Now when you take a spark plug out, you want to be very careful not to knock it against anything. So I did the initial break loose, and then what I'll do is I'll loosen this by hand the rest of the way. And then right when it's about to come out, I'll stick a magnet down in there and grab it, or stick some tape inside the plug, cellophane, inside of the socket to hold the plug as I extract it. Alright, I'm going to show how this goes here. So I just took a glove, I'm going to stick my socket down inside the one finger, and then push it down on the inside, like that. And just that little bit of difference should let me grab that spark plug just fine. I've already backed it most of the way up. And presto. Glove holds the spark plug. Very nice. So this plug did have some pretty nasty stuff going on down on the inside there, so I will want to replace this. For right now, I need this car to drive to the auto parts store, so I'm going to put that back in. But I will replace it. Doesn't take that much to do. Gently put it back in there. Start it by hand. And again, you want this stuff to go most of the way by hand. Don't force it. No impact drivers. Now I've run it all the way down by hand. Now I'm going to tighten it using my torque wrench. I'm going to creep right up on that 25, and it's good. Double check. There we go. Now we're ready to install the new coil. Real simple again, nothing really to them. Slides down inside there. Nice snug fit all the way down. And then the last thing you do is you put your retaining bolt back inside there. Nice and snug. Again, don't over tighten it. It's a little tiny bolt. A little tiny bolt. What did it ever do to you? Make sure that little black clip is back. Now again, it's on the opposite side. Come on. There we go, and then we'll push the black plastic piece in. And there we go. Coil change is done.